Vandami Bante, good morning everyone. Good evening to everyone in the Western Hemisphere. Welcome to Lesson 3 on Reality and Truths in Abhidhamma. Today's lesson is scheduled to last for 1.5 hours with 50 minutes on coursework and remaining 40 minutes on Q&A. I'm Tiong Han and I will be the meeting co-host who will be helping Bante and everyone in today's lesson. May we invite Bante to start the teaching, please? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, Sumangalo, Ajankalo. This is the auspicious time. So let's start our lesson by paying homage to the Buddha, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, welcome back everyone for the lesson 3. In this lesson, I'm going to explain about the reality and truths in Abhidhamma. Just before we continue to this present lesson 3, just trying to recall what we have studied in the lesson 1 and lesson 2. So lesson 1, I just introduced about the Abhidhamma. And in second lesson, I managed to explain about the 31 plane of existence. Because the beings are living in the 31 plane of existence, as well as we regarded the beings based on the existence. So understanding the 31 plane of existence is very important as long as we have to run around the samsara. So here in this life, all the participant was born as a human being. So we live as a human beings, but we must have the previous life within the 31 plane of existence. Thus we come from any of the 31 plane of existence. Then if we have condition to give rise a new life, we will be reborn in any of 31 plane of existence. I'm trying to recall what we have studied in the second lesson. So I think some of our members missed some explanation about the 31 plane of existence. And so this time I'm going to continue about the reality and truths in the Abhidhamma. And I'd like to roughly introduce again our course design. So the lesson 1, 2, 3, and number 5. These lessons are to organize the basics understanding, so background understanding, in order to have the proper understanding when I explain about the specific topics of Abhidhammata Sangha especially. So we need to keep some information before we continue our study in the specific session. That's why I'm planning lesson 1, 2, 3, and 5. So in lesson 4, I'm going to explain about the 89 consciousness. We will go there in this way, the specific topics. Under that, we will classify the types of the Abhidhamma teachings, the types of the reality mentioned in the Abhidhamma teaching. So this lesson also, although I included some information, these are not directly related to our level 1 and 2. Level 1 and 2, and especially the Wa Panyati. So here, that will include one types of truth. If in two types of truth, there will have one truth, which is called the conventional truth. That is not directly relevant in the lesson level 1 and 2. It will include in the level 3. But I'm trying to explain here very early. But this information will give you the proper consideration when we study our specific lesson. That's I'm trying to manage here. So if you don't understand, if you don't fully understand about this lesson, please be patient and don't be upset and don't be complicated. Just trying to keep whatever you can understand in this lesson and then previous 2 lessons. So I'm going to continue our today's study. So today the focus is realities and truth. So I will continue. I will explain about the truth first. So truth we call in Pali Satya. So here 2 types of truth. As I mentioned in the lesson 1, this slide already shown in the lesson 1, but we need to review to understand properly. This we will go further in this lesson than lesson 1. So here's Samuti Satya and Paramata Satya. Samuti Satya in English, conventional truth. Paramata Satya, ultimate truth. What is conventional truth? Names. Name of what? The things and being. Name of the things and beings. These are called Samuti Satya, conventional truth. They are true. If you name something by any conceptual name, it is true according to your common sense. So names of the things and name of the beings, these are called Samuti Satya. Okay, we will understand later in more detail. So this is the conceptual thought. So if we name as the living being, person, man, woman, animals, many of the names we can find around us, these all are conventional truth, not really existing. It appears because we name. The second types of truth is ultimate truth. They are really existing in the ultimate sense. The 4 types of ultimate truth are given in this slide. And also in the Abhidhamma Sangha, these 4 types of ultimate truth are mentioned. The first one, consciousness. So consciousness, second one, mental fetters. In common sense, together, the consciousness and mental fetters are collectively understood as the mind. And the third one is matter, or physical phenomena. These 3 types. So, but in this case, I divided into 2 again. So consciousness and mental fetters together can be called mentalities. So we also, in common sense, understand minds, my minds and your minds like this. So that my mind, in this case, mind refers to the combination of consciousness and mental fetters. We are reference consciousness and mental fetter by the word mind, my mind or your mind in the common sense. And the third one, your body of the other's body, like this. That is called a group of materiality, aggregate of materiality. You are referenced as the body. So if we analyze ourselves, we can find mind and physical body. That's all. So mind can be divided into 2 in the specific ultimate truth. First one, consciousness, mental fetters. So we will learn what is consciousness in the specific meaning. So here I will introduce the consciousness is the basics elements to aware the object. So when you talks about the mind, there must be any object of the mind. Without the object, mind cannot arise. So you cannot have the mind movement without any objects. So every mind movement have the object. So in this case, as I say, the mind we refer to is the combination of consciousness and mental factors. Among them, the consciousness, the function of consciousness is aware. The work of consciousness is aware to the object. You can keep the information about the consciousness with something aware to the object, that is consciousness. And the other function of your mind are mental factors, the work of mental factors. Sometimes you feel happy and you feel unhappy. You feel the heaviness of the mind or something like this. And you have the very active mind, the function of active, of heaviness, and happy or unhappy. These all are the function of mental factors. So in combination of consciousness and mental factor, we understand, in common sense, we understand our mind or your mind. But anyway, these two are ultimate truth. They really exist. They really exist. That's why they are called ultimate truth. It is different from the conventional truth. And the third one, matter, also, you have the body. That is the aggregate or the group of physical phenomena or materialities. That also really exists. That's why the consciousness, mental factors, and matter, these three are ultimate truth. And the last one, Nibbana. Although you cannot touch the fourth noble truth, the fourth ultimate truth of Nibbana, although you cannot feel in common sense, but it really exists in its own nature, but it's not easy to understand. Anyway, the Nibbana also, the ultimate truth, it really exists in ultimate sense. That's why we have the four types of realities. In other way, four types of ultimate truth under the category of Paramattha Satya, ultimate truth. So in this slide, I have already mentioned in lesson 1, but I will repeat it again in short. The three of ultimate truth, consciousness, mental factors, and matters, and collectively we call that in two categories, aggregates of mentality and aggregate of materialities. We can classify into 5 aggregates. In the Pali, these are called the Panchakanda. But Nibbana is not under the classification of aggregates. So aggregates we belong to, called the Panchakanda, 5 aggregates, are much easier to understand by the common knowledge. So in other words, these are called the conditional reality, conditioned by their specific condition. So the karma or citta, karma is the potency of the karma, and consciousness, and heat or cold, temperature, utu, and nutriment, nutritive essence. These are usually regarded as the condition. And also, according to the Patana, there are many conditions to give rise to a specific reality. So anyway, the 3 types of ultimate truth, or 2 types of aggregate of mentality and materiality, or in other way, 5 aggregates. These are called conditional reality. So they really exist. And Nibbana is unconditional reality. That still reality really exists, but really, how to say that, really true, ultimate truth, but not conditional reality. It's called the Asankata Dhatu. So here, which is called reality, or ultimate reality, is the Paramattha. So being constant, if you say about the meaning of the Paramattha of reality, some aspect to consider, they are real essence, not just the name, real essence. And we will define how they are in real essence. And being constant, they cannot change. They cannot change into another form of another elements. And they are very stiffer, unchanging. So this is the Paramata. In order to classify from the Samudisacca, compassionate truth. Here in Abhidhamata and Paramata, I have already given this list also in the lesson 1. So the Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa, and Nibbana, the meaning of Chitta, to cognize or aware the object, but it is divided into 89 in briefly and 121, but when we study in lesson 4, we will understand this. And Chittasika, mental fetters, here you have to note arise along with consciousness. So consciousness and mental fetters arise together. Mental fetters perform the different functions. They perform the different functions as I mentioned, so happy or unhappy, etc. Then Rupa is material phenomena. So these are deformed by the cold or heat. And Nibbana, this is ultimate peace. And the last one, Panyati. So here 1 to 4 are the ultimate reality or absolute truth. So I would like to connect with the real nature of the universe by the Abhidhamma's understanding. So now we understand there are 2 types of truth, the conventional truth and ultimate truth. So to understand, for more understanding about these 2 truths, we have to connect with the things and being what we have know in common sense. So here we are going to investigate into the nature. So the whole universe can be divided into 2, beings or things, being and things. Whatever animates, we call the beings. Maybe the human beings, a deva or Brahma or animals or the small animals like this. These all are animate. They have the life of mentality. And this is called animates. The beings usually refers to the animate that has assemblage of the fetters of mental and physical process. This is general expression. As I mentioned in the lesson 2, so some of our members need to know about these 3 types of being. The first types of being only have the materialities, and second types of being only have the mentalities, and the third type have both mentality and materiality. Here in this slide, I refer to the general meaning of the beings. So the beings is assemblage of fetters of mental and physical process. So what I say, the process is ever changing, so replacing, not existing all the time. Our body, since we were born as a human, our body, we think in common sense our body exists, our body comes to grow up, but actually this is the process of physical phenomena. Previous one arise, present, and vanish. The following one take place. Because the process is very fast, we cannot aware in common sense. So we think the body is all the time, existing all the time. But anyway, if we study, if we observe from the Abhidhamma side, the Abhidhamma understanding, that is the process. The following one that is taking place in the previous one's place. Okay, so the assemblage of the fetters of mental and physical process, mental process and physical process coming together, we understand that is the beings. So the third type of beings, those have both mentality and materialities. In this case, we understand for ourselves at the beginning, just to consider about the human beings. A human being has the process of mentalities. So we understand we have the mind. That is the process of mentality. And also, human being has the process of physical body, physical phenomena. We understand that is our body. So we have mind and body. That is the mental process and physical process. So here, beings refers to the mental process and physical process. Then the things, you mentioned that defined as the inanimate, not living. So just like a chair or desk or house or something, not living. These are assemblage of fetters of physical process. So there's no mentality. So this is the difference, beings and things. But some exception will be in case of Arupa Vajara, there's no materiality, only the mentality. And as we mentioned in lesson 2, the Asanya Saddha, that being has only the physical process, not mental process. So this will be exception in this definition. But in common sense, we can understand in this way, beings is the combination of two processes of mentality and physical phenomenon. And that things are only physical process. So in this way, we can analyze the whole universe. This is the beings and this is the things. A being has a two process and things have only one process of materiality. Okay, so both of them, beings and things, are in the process. Why they are in the process? So according to the impermanent nature, so realities, the conditional realities, they have the nature of impermanence, changing. That's why the previous one appear and disappear. The following one appear and disappear. In this way, they are in the process, impermanence. That's why replacing. So given the many words, but I'm reference to the same meaning, just to understand the process, not exceeding. Okay, so we give the conceptual name. So as a being or as a thing, or for the being, that's a woman or man of the child of adult or something else. We give the name. That's why in common sense, our understanding touch to the name. So the name is put in the assemblage, in the groove. That's why our common sense just touch to the conventional truth, not ultimate truth. So in order to understand the ultimate truth, you need to overcome the common understanding, common touching to the conventional truth. So by the power of wisdom, of knowledge, you can penetrate. This is the assemblage, or this is the group, and something is given by the name of man or woman. So we analyze the man is the process of mentality and materiality. So our understanding penetrate the cover of the conceptual truth. So conceptual knowledge and notion are removed by the wisdom. Then you touch to the ultimate truth, ultimate reality. And then you can classify this is the mentality and this is the materiality in your own bodies. So the ultimate truth, ultimate reality, they have the intrinsic nature, sabhava. So if you can penetrate by the wisdom, you can find the ultimate. These are matter, consciousness, mental feather in this way. So matters, the process of mentality. If you observe that this is very clear for the Vipassana practitioner, they can analyze. Anyway, in the study also, we can try to understand. So the matter, materiality, then consciousness and mental feathers are collectively called the process of mentality. So let's continue for more understanding about the Samudhisajja, because the conventional truth. So this is the conceptual thought, conventional truth, not really existing, but it is true in the conventional sense, because it is the products of mental construction. Mental construction, in Pali, it is called a parikapana. So something given in your mind. The previous time, that is named as the man. When you consider about the wa, what is the meaning of the wa, man? So that creation, the products come, the mental construction construct the appearance of the man. So that is just the name. So that is true in conventional sense, but not really existing. The man is the name of the being. This conceptual knowledge, it is true, but it does not exist in their own right as irreducible reality. So the man can be divided into two processes. So it is reducible. The man is reducible. So if we divide it, this is the process of materiality and this is the process of mentality. So there's no more man. In the same way, the beings of any means, other beings of any means, and they were also same. So if you divide it into two processes of this mentality and materiality, there's no more beings. That is why they are not existing in irreducible reality. They are reducible. You can reduce by dividing into the constituents of them. So not here in the slide I share, I dropped this one. Not the same as, not the same as realities existing by reason of their own nature. It means the reality are existing, or ultimate reality are existing by reason of their own nature. So we will understand in the Paramata Satya. So this is the definition for the Sammuti Satya to understand what is the conventional truth. So in the Sammuti Satya and the Paramata Satya together, we can classify in this way. So Paramata Satya, in first slide, I classify into two types. One is conditional reality, and another one is unconditional reality of Nibbana. So conditional reality include the mind and matter. So materiality and mentality. So both of the materiality and mentality have the three phases. You can understand the three phases of existence. So arising, present, and dissolution. So this refers to the impermanence nature. Something has the arising, present, and dissolution that is impermanent. So the conditional reality has a three phases. But unconditional reality of Nibbana does not have arising, present, or dissolution. But this types of Sammuti Satya, a conceptual thought, also does not have three phases of existence. So no arising. The man you consider in the past also is given the man. Future also will be given the name of the man, but it is timeless. So conceptual knowledge is timeless. Conceptual truth is timeless. The ultimate truth can be divided into two. The conditioned realities are with the three phases, and unconditional reality, Nibbana, does not have the three phases. Okay, let's continue to the Paramata Satya, ultimate truth. So the word Paramata, I'm trying to explain the Brahma and Atta. Brahma usually in Pali word refers to the noble one or great, but in this case, the word Brahma refers to the ultimate or final. So that's why the word Paramata refers to the final, the Paramata Satya, irreducible or final essence, the reality. Yeah, the ultimate truth means something that is true according to the ultimate sense. Four types of truths. They are true according to the ultimate sense: consciousness, mental fetters, matter, and Nibbana. So these are, as they are the final Dhamma, final essence, they are irreducible components of existence. You cannot reduce them again. So no further reduction, final term of analyze. Every fetters of Paramata, ultimate truth, ultimate reality, they have their own nature. You cannot devise it again to change through their nature. So these are called ultimate truth. They exist in the nature. For example, as I said, the consciousness, it aware to the object. It never changes. Whenever the consciousness arises, that arises only in its nature to aware the objects. And also, you will understand more and more in the Abhidhamma study if we study about the specific fetters of mental fetters, specific mental fetters like a feeling or something, context, perception, volition, etc. They will exist in their own nature. That's why they are called the ultimate reality. So this is the general meaning. So you may not understand the whole meaning of the Paramata only in this slide. But after studying the other lesson, you will understand why they are called the Paramata and differentiate from the conventional truth. So they can be proved by the characteristic, function, manifestation, and proximate cause. So this is also different from the conventional truth. conventional truth you cannot approve by the characteristic, function, manifestation, or proximate cause, because they don't exist in the nature. They don't have three phases of existence too. This is the difference between the conventional truth and ultimate truth. Just to consider about the things and being you know in common sense is much more easier to understand. The literal meaning sometimes not easy to understand. But if we classify the beings in our common understanding, so this is the being. This is called a being in the combination. So if we divide this mentality and materiality, no more beings. This is a materiality and this is mentality. But materiality also we can divide this into their ultimate things. No more process like this. So these all the conventional truths are reducible, but the ultimate truth are irreducible because they exist in their own nature. So for more understanding about the differences, we will continue to study about the concept, panyati. So this is in the page number 325 to 328. So this session is included in the third ordinary level of the examination. So you don't need to memorize everything in this slide, but you can capture the meaning to apply in our further study. So there are two types of panyati. One is Atha panyati in Pali, and second one is Nama panyati. So concept of meaning and concept of name as name. So meaning and name. Usually the meanings first, and then we give the name to us according to the name, according to the meaning. We name this is man because of this meaning, or this is woman because of this meaning, like this. So meaning and name, first one. Okay, let's continue about the first one, explanation of the past concept as meanings. So here the list is given: land, mountain, etc. They are named as in this way, named because of these are panyati. So concept as meaning. So land refers to this is the Santana panyati, the formal concept. Because land, the name land comes through the concept of form. So when you see in this way, you understand this is the land. When you see in the groove of the stone of the earth, you understand this is the mountain in this way. And also this depends on the form. So this all land and mountain are named based on their form. When you see the flat, this is called the land, and when you see the higher place, this is called the mountain in this way. So based on the form, that is called the Santana panyati. So as this is the concept, you can divide it into, and if you remove the stone of the mountain, so that will disappear, no more mountain. In this way, we understand that is concept. And the second types of concept is Samuha panyati. These are collectively named. So collective concept, the house, chariot, cart, etc. The mood of the formation of materials. So for example, the house, if you disarrange the parts of the house, there will not be the house anymore. In the same way, if you uninstall the cars, the parts of the car, no more car. So the car, the word cars or the name car is given in the group. That's why there is this type of concept is called the collective concept. The person also in the same way, the person of individual account of 5 aggregates. So coming together, 5 aggregates, we call this is the person or this is the individual. So when the person dies, we regard no more mentality in this body, become the separate of the mental aggregate and material aggregate. So this is called the person, collectively called the person. If we divide it, the person, we get the 5 aggregates. So this is the material aggregates, and this is the feeling aggregates. This is perception aggregate, the mental formation aggregates, and consciousness aggregate in this way. And as mentioned in the chart of the aggregate, you can divide the person into the aggregates, because the person is called collectively 5 aggregates. Then another types of concept, disa or kala. So disa is local concept. Local concept, direction, east, west, north, etc. You depends on the location. So this is called the local concept. And times also, this temporal concept is the units of the hours. You saw the 1 hour, 2 hours, or days, or years in this way. These all are concepts. Then another types of concept is where, caves, etc. Akasa, spatial concept, depends on the space. It is name, depends on the space. So without the space, you cannot say this is the cave. So the cave, the name of the cave comes through the space. That's why this types of concept is called the spatial concept. Then the last one, kasina. So when you practice the concentration meditation, samatha meditation, and then you take the object of kasina and the round shape of the art kasina, and then you take it to appear in the mind. It becomes the sign of the meditation, your meditation practice. That is called the kasina sign. That's sign concept. Just depends on the conceptual thoughts. So these are first types of concept, which is called the concepts as meanings. So they direct to the meaning, but they do not exist in the ultimate things. As I mentioned in the previous slides, all the concepts do not exist in the ultimate thing. So they do not exist, but they exist in the mind, in the concept. That's why they are called the conceptual knowledge, conceptual truth. So although they do not exist in ultimate sin, they cannot arise without the connection with the ultimate reality. So that is why they can be regarded as in the form of the shadow of ultimate things. So our consciousness take the shadow of the ultimate thing and then give the name. So as in case of the individual, although there's no individual in ultimate sin, we take the shadow of the ultimate reality of mental process and mental material process, and then according to the collection, a combination, and then we take that combination and in the mind and give the name of person of individual in this way. So the concept based on the shadow of ultimate things. So it is designed in the worldly convention. So it is given in different names, but sometimes it changes. So even the chair, the form is same, but they are given in different name in different languages. So because they are fashioned by the worldly convention. So English speaker call chair, and Chinese speaker will call them in different way, and Burmese speaker they call in different way in this way. So these names depends on the worldly convention. So the second types of consciousness, just to understand, roughly understanding. So you don't need to analyze in details. I will introduce in short. So there are 6 types of concept as name. So nama panyati. In other way, it is called the saddha panyati. These are the name. So the name, which are mana panyati. Here you have to focus on this part, matter, feeling. So matter is included under the category of ultimate reality. That is why matter is really existing. But the name is not reality. The reality is the phenomenon. We give the name of that reality, matter. That is a kind of name, panyati, name. But based on the really existing vijamana. So based on the real. This name based on the real. Feeling. So feeling is really existing, but the name feeling is concept. The second one, based on unreal, awujamana panyati, land or mountain. As I mentioned, there's no land that in the ultimate things. So these are unreal, based on unreal. So the third one, based on the possessor of sixfold direct knowledge. So here in this case, the sixfold direct knowledge is really existing. This is the power of the consciousness and mentalities. So sixfold direct knowledge really is it in the ultimate thing. So this is the real, but the name is unreal. The possessor, there's no possessor because there's no individual or no person in ultimate things. So the name, the complete name is possessor. So the possessor complete name is unreal, but is based on the real. Real is in sixfold direct knowledge. This is that number 3 types of concept. Okay, let's continue to number 4. Woman's voice. So woman, there's no woman in ultimate sense, but the voice really is it. The voice is a kind of materialities. So these are types of name. So if we understand woman's voice, so the voice is the meaning, the final meaning. So this is real, but based on unreal is it of women. Then the next one, unconsciousness. This is in both sides. This is real in both sides. So I and consciousness. I is a kind of materiality, I sensitivity, and consciousness is mentality. So both are in real. So unconsciousness, we get the consciousness, but both are real. And also the really existing in the ultimate sin, and the consciousness also really existing in the ultimate sin. And the last types of consciousness, kin son. So kin also refers to a types of person. So there's no existing in that way. And a son also reference to the person. So that also not existing in the ultimate sin. This is the 2 types of concept. Okay. So I already mentioned about the 2 types of truths shown in the Abhidhamma, and there is another types of truth which is called the noble truth. This is very important truth. We will learn more and more about this truth. But here I would like to introduce noble truth because it has the same name of the truth. So noble truth. In the name, the first one is dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering, samudaya satya, the noble truth of the origin of suffering, and the third, nirodha satya, the noble truth of cessation of suffering, and magga satya, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. This is the very common expression. Many of our Buddhist people already understood the Four Noble Truths in name. But here, the ultimate reality. Name refers to the realities. So the Noble Truth of suffering refers to specific reality. Here in this class, you don't need to understand all the reality in connection with their name. So just trying to understand the noble truth, name of the noble truth, and why they are called true. I would like to emphasize on the truth. The giving the name of the truth to these 4 because they are penetrated by the noble one. So as you know, the ordinary person and noble one. Ordinary person is Puthujjana and noble one is called the Ariya Pukkala. So Puthujjana practice the Vipassana meditation, attain the enlightenment, and he or she becomes a noble one. So these noble truths are penetrated by the noble one. That's why they are called the noble truth. And the second definition, because they are taught by the supreme noble one, reference to the Buddha. So the Buddha expounded about the noble truth. That is why they are called the noble truth. And the third one, discovery. Their discovery leads to the state of the noble one. So when you discover in your experience, discover the noble truth in your own experience. So that discovery leads you to the state of noble one. It means if you realize this noble truth in proper way, you will become a noble one. And that's why they are called the noble truth. And the last one, because they are real, unalterable, and deceptive truth. So that truth about the existence. So for example, the dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. In the Sutta explanation is come jati bi dukkha, jara bi dukkha, etc. So jati refers to the birth. Birth is suffering. Jara decays or aging is suffering. Although it is defined that the birth or aging or death, etc., in the sutta, but in the ultimate sense, according to the ultimate reality, there's all types of suffering refers to the mundane consciousness, 81 types of mundane consciousness, or the mental fetters and matters, 28 matters. So in this way, we can understand in common sense, so suffering. What is suffering? According to the Sutta explanation comes to relate to our common sense. That is all the birth or aging or death or associating with the enemies or like this. Dissociated with the beloved one like this. So it's related to our common sense. Here, the ultimate sense does not change in that way, just emphasize on the ultimate reality. We will study in the next lessons about the ultimate sense. After studying, you will know how to classify according to the ultimate reality. These are called in Burmese ayaka. So we take off the ultimate essence through the name and through the event in your daily life. So in this case, I'm already introduced the Four Noble Truth. So here in this lesson, we already studied about the conventional truth and ultimate truth. Then another category of truth, noble truth. Then reality, which is called the Paramatha Satya. So Paramatha Satya is called the reality. Okay, so here I'm going to stop my explanation and let's continue to the Q&A. So, okay, let's share our merit today to other audience. So, imina punya kamina nami bala samagamo sadam samagamo hodu yawa nibbana patiya idame punyam asawakaya waham hodu idame punyam nibbana sapachayo hodu mama punya bhagam sabha satanam bhajimi isabi Visamam punya bhagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you, Bante, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet on next Sunday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all be happy and happy.